Hello, everybody. Welcome to September 19th, 2024. We are in our 202nd, if you can believe it, 202nd. I actually should start putting this on the slides session. We started back in May 2020, just 2020. There's no extra number. And we've been going ever since, every Thursday. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to join us in person, live, not in person, but by Zoom. But feel free to join us live. We actually have more conversation that happens after the presentation. Today, I'm going to talk about keeping on, keeping on, I don't know how to say it. In fact, I think when I advertised it, I wrote it down wrong, but it's keep on, keeping on. Goshen Consulting was founded, we consider our Founders Day on September 18th, which was yesterday, 2009. What? 15 years has just flown by. And so Melanie Wallach was on 2 or 3 weeks ago, I forget now, but she was just on and she started her firm in the 1980s. So I feel like I'm just a baby next to her. She's got so much experience. She's been through so many things. And if you paid attention to that session, I was asking her all the questions for my own purposes, but hopefully for yours as well, because she's seen some things. She's seen several presidents come and go and all the crazy things that happen along with that, all those administrations that challenge the presidents and budget shutdowns and all these things that seem perennial at this point. They don't ever seem to go away. But today, I'm going to just talk about my experiences, talk about the things I wish I knew 15 years ago to try and help you guys out. But then we'll stop the recording so the YouTube people will go away. Sorry. And then we will just get into the broader conversation about what your problems have been, how you've solved them, what you've run into. And so anyway, let's go into it. Well, it doesn't want to advance. We can find the advance button somewhere. There it is. All right, so here's our little timeline. I started off this morning and got up early, and I thought I could just put in my timeline of activities and it would just create this for me. Well, sometimes PowerPoint can figure that out and others can't. And I don't know if I want to trust AI to figure it out, or I have the time to figure that out this morning. So I had to put this together. But we started in 2009. I was literally sitting on my couch and I filled out this little piece of paper. I was trying to figure out what to name the company, and I named it Goshen Education Consulting. And took that down to the courthouse. They stamped my paper, and that's where I was able to look up and say, where did we kind of start from? It was on September 18th, 2009. You can see as we went along, the top is kind of the Goshen specific timeline, and the bottom is kind of my professional journey with AEA and you all and the Evaluation Association of St. Louis. But these are all key points and things that were important to me personally, important to Goshen as a firm, and I think helped kind of put me in that position and the firm in the position to kind of continue being successful. So you can see in 2011, I went to both my first AEA conference where I met some of the folks who are here, I think. I know I met Ann and Susan. I don't see if I can't see if they're here. I quit my day job, meaning I was a director of institutional research at a university, and left that to work. Most of the work at first were math and science partnership grants, which is going to be an important piece for future slides. And I was almost entirely in that MSP world. So I know some of you guys were too. Kurt, I think you did that at one point before they went away, which is also another key point to remember for the future. Around 2015, I became the TIG chair. Actually, I was chair-elect in 2015, but the chair decided she no longer wanted to be independent. So she left the independent world, and with it, she left the independent consulting TIG chair role to me. So I was TIG chair for almost 2 years, and then I was outgoing TIG chair in 2017. I got my first DODEA grant in 2016, and that's where I know I met Kurt Stoop, who's here with us today, because we met in Virginia, Kurt. And guess where we're going to be again this year? Virginia, same place, Norfolk. So that's kind of fun. I did my first independent consulting pre-conference workshop, which set me up to kind of have the conversations we're having today in 2017 with Gail And Laura Keene and I continue to be collaborators on those workshops. In 2019, Tom was hired, and he was our first team member, employee, if you will. We like to call them team members. We founded Easel in 2018. So here's an interesting thing. Yesterday, we did this Easel workshop. Easel is the Valuation Association of St. Louis. I was the founding president, and when we spent, I swear, like 3 years trying to get this thing started. It was driving me bonkers. I was like, why is this taking so long? Why can't we just make it happen? You know, the independent consultant mover and shaker in me. And we finally were getting it ready, and we put together Leah Neubauer. By the way, Leah Neubauer just got an award by AA. You'll see, well, she'll be awarded at the conference in Portland in a month. Anyway, she was our inaugural speaker, and we couldn't figure out the date, and then we were trying to work with the location. And they said, how about September 18th, which I think was a Thursday. And we were trying to get it on the Wednesday, and it was September. And I was like, you guys know September 18th is kind of like a big day for me. You want to start to do the inaugural, effectively create the birthday or the founder's day for Easel on the same day as Goshen. And they're like, we don't care. So anyway, yesterday was a founder's day for both 6 years of Easel and 15 years of Goshen, which was wild. Anyway, we founded Easel in 2018. STEM Camp, if you've been with us since the beginning, in August 2020, I had just found out STEM Camp was funded while I was in the middle of this the IC topic chats. It was like, what? It actually happened. In 2020, actually, so 2020, you can see the IC topic chat started. My partner, Kristen Cowart, who is my partner in life and in the firm, she was silent until 2023. She wasn't that silent, but she was silent as a partner anyway. She decided she wanted to go into consulting, and she joined the firm in 2023 officially. We started doing retreats with our colleagues in 2023 as well, with other independent consulting firms, people who have multiple employees. And then very excited to tell you that STEM Camp was refunded for definitely 2 years, but likely 10 years just last month. So what comes around goes around. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the stumbles I've had over the years. Okay. First stumble. And this is something I know everybody feels, particularly at the very beginning. I was overwhelmed at how to find new work. I didn't know what to do. So my lesson learned, I have 2 lessons. Most of this is just 1 lesson, but I have 2 lessons on this. I spent time with my clients. I felt like, well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have enough. I had lots of capacity, and most of my work was local. So if they had a meeting, I went to it. I could have just, we didn't do Zoom like we do now. I could have just been on a conference call for most of them, but I thought, well, why don't I just go out to Monroe County and spend some time with my clients? And it seemed like every time I showed up, they would think of a new thing we could be doing. And so we would constantly be thinking through new opportunities for them. So I went out and I would say it, showing up to get paid. That's what I called it, which was showing up to find new work and find new ways to engage with my clients. The other things I found, and this has been very good for me, is I go to client meetings when they meet with their programs, like their communities of practice. Examples. NOIS has an annual meeting. That's National Science Foundation NOIS. It's for it has to do with encouraging STEM teaching. They have an annual meeting in Washington D.C. in July. I go out to it now I'm going out to it every year. I went to it for the first time this year, but it makes total sense to go out there because A, you get to connect with your clients. 2, you propose to present, and invariably they're always looking for an evaluator to present on evaluation something. And so I get to stand up in front of people, talk about the wonderful things that we do as an evaluation firm, and other people show up, and hypothetically they're going to remember us, which is what happens. Other people get to see you. They remember you. When they go to look for an evaluator down the line, they're like, oh yeah, there was that Matt guy from Goshen something something. Where's he from? And they type in Matt Goshen. And next thing you know, here I am, and I got an opportunity for the future. Plus it looks good, right? But it's good practice. So go out. The Math and Science Partnership Grant led to an opportunity with a university in Iowa, which led to my DODEA grants. I can go on and on. There's been lots of experiences of getting out in front of people, talking about what we do in just educational ways, just like I do every day with you. and it's turned into new opportunities. All right, let's do another stumble. I'm lonely. I need colleagues. I don't know if I can do this alone, because a lot of us come from working in office settings where we have colleagues who, you know, bring you coffee and you go out to lunch with, but now you're oftentimes working from home, you're remote, you don't know what to do. Well, hello, welcome to the IC Topic Chats. You need to join an affiliate, join a TIG, get active and involved. You're going to hear from the independent consulting TIG leadership in a couple of weeks, the week before we go out to AEA, and they're going to encourage you. I take that call, do that thing, and when possible, get involved with leadership, because what you're going to find is those folks, they are engaged. They know what's going on. They know people. They're connected, and they can tell you the things. So, and this is actually critical. I think this is important to get involved with those organizations where people are doing the things you want to do. Don't do things. You can get involved with personal things like running clubs, like I have, and that's been interesting and informative to my practice. It has, but it's not going to. That's not going to sell me new work, right? Get involved with with the people who are doing the things you want to do, or the clients. Get involved with those client organizations, and find out what you can do to be engaged with them, because that's where the new opportunities will come. All right, next stumble, greed. I was in a situation where I was doing math and science partnership grants, and I had maybe 4 of them, and they would issue new ones every year. One year, the statewide evaluator decided she needed to be both the statewide and the local evaluator, and they completely cut all the local evaluators out. And I had a complete panic attack, because it was like, my world revolves around math and science partnership grants. How am I going to continue in my business if I don't have these anymore? So what I needed to do was think about revenue diversification. So you can see these are different eggs and baskets. You understand the symbolism here. I needed to think about different things that I can do that I'm good at, that I enjoy, where there's opportunities to get paid, right? That are doing good things for the people I want to work with, effectively, which fits my niche, and not be completely reliant on one stream of funding. Because guess what? The math and science partnership grants were no longer funded. I think it was in 2014 or 2015. They had some money left for a couple more years, and then it's gone away. That's why you don't hear about it anymore. It was a wonderful program, but it didn't survive budget cuts. And so as a result, if I had put all my eggs in the MSP basket, I don't know if you'd be talking to me today. I decided to look into, that's why I showed the NSF, first NSF grant funded, because I was having that panic attack in 2012, 2013. So I had an opportunity to work on a grant proposal that got funded. And so since then, we've done a lot of work within the NSF world. Next stumble. I know you feel this way. I don't know about evaluation. I'm not smart enough. I'm not cut out to last. I don't understand how to run a business. Fill in the blank of your anxiety. I got news for you. Imposter syndrome is real for almost everyone. I used to say for everyone, but then I realized if imposter syndrome is not a reality for you, I think you got bigger problems, because you're probably not checking with yourself. You're probably an egotistical jerk. So if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, you're probably in good company, because I think almost everybody you know feels the same way. My point of advice for you, I'm 15 years doing this now. You don't outgrow imposter syndrome. I'm currently have a staff of we have 16 people, a pretty healthy budget, 56 projects. I feel imposter syndrome. Who am I to think I am trying to do this consulting firm thing? I don't understand how to, invest in employees so that they want to stay and work for my firm for their careers and these sorts of things. Who am I to do that, right? I still feel that way. We just moved to different levels of the same level of that same feeling of being an imposter. And I promise you, if you feel that way, put it in the chat. And if you've been through this and you understand it, for me, you just grow thicker skin. You just grow to tolerate it. You grow to trust your own process. Next stumble. Just hired my first team member. And this actually did happen. And I can't figure out how I'm going to stay sustainable because things were supposed to fall into place in 2019. And I brought on our first team member in May. And then I realized things hadn't fallen into place to really provide for us for many years. It was like, we're going to squeeze through this year. We're going to have a loss this year. What are we going to do in 2020? So I learned to shoot for the stars. You see, there's a little graphic here called BHAG. That's a reference to Jim Collins' book, Built to Last. And BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. Effectively, you need to shoot for the stars. You need to start thinking about how you can get that big thing. So for us, it was STEM Camp, which was a big deal, which caused us an opportunity to hire a couple more people, which created momentum. And then Goshen took off. This is my current imposter syndrome. How do I grow, improve, and solidify my business? This business that I've started. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, for me, it's been about teaching. The fact that I get up in front of people and say, you should be doing this. So this is how I did it. This is the, the IC topic chats. This is the pre-conference workshops. This is the Summer Evaluation Institute. And occasionally we put on web-based workshops where we do more intense learning with people. But I do this, these IC topic chats very personally. It improves my own ability to think about why I do what I do. And it's helping you guys. And so because I'm trying to be prepared to talk to you about it, I got to know my own stuff. So I read the books and I stay on top of it. And so that's been wonderful for me to learn how to do it. But I would encourage all of you to be a mentor to others. Anne likes to talk about her office hours, and she has, I encourage you to look it up. Particularly if you're brand new into your consulting practice, that's what office hours are there for brand new consultants. If anybody wants to post in the chat about that, that'd be great. But those are times for people to just be completely honest and ask the dumb questions. And it's kind of an affiliate. We are separate, but we always try and support each other. And a lot of people who come to this also go to that because they're in their startup phase. So I'm showing you this graphic to remind you about the niche. What you see are the 3 overlapping circles that are often called the hedgehog concept. This is going to be important to the next pieces I'm going to. I like to add in a 4th circle because a lot of us are in the program evaluation space, which we're focused on mission-centric organizations like nonprofits and like universities, public and private universities, but basically people who are focused on serving good purposes. If you can overlap these things of what you love, doing the things that you enjoy, that you get up in the morning and you just can't wait to go do, with things that you're good at, hypothetically, those should be the same. And where there's money, oftentimes the money follows, but you got to be a little bit aware of whether you're going to get paid, and you take care of the administration and the business side of things. And you're doing something for the world needs, or you're doing something that's serving those mission granting organizations that are out to save the world, you're going to be just fine. And this is my big finding. So here's my 5.5 suggestions for keeping on. Keeping on. How to keep on. Remember, necessity is the mother of invention, meaning if you need to find that next project because you don't know how it's going to happen, obviously don't wait too long to start that process. You will figure it out. Your invention will come along. You may find yourself doing workshops. You may find yourself coaching. You may find yourself doing work with clients you never thought you would. And oftentimes you'll find that you probably are really good at, you get paid really well and you didn't expect it. So there's a lot of unexpected findings. Focus on your niche. That's what I just showed you with the 4 overlapping circles, which is oftentimes called the ikigai. It's the westernization of the ikigai, a Japanese principle. Don't be afraid to go for those big, hairy, audacious goals. You need to actually stretch yourself to do the things that you're likely to fail at. Because if you're not pushing yourself to pursue those big ideas, you're limiting your ability to be what you can be. Find good people and trust them. Trust them to do the things that you can't do. Find those people who are good at things you're not good at, and support them when they fail, because they're going to, and don't get upset about it. Expect it. You're not expecting failure from the people that you're working with. You're set up for your own failure. You don't know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And honestly, you can't grow folks within your team members unless you give them an opportunity to fail, because that's how they're going to learn the best. It's painful. That's part of the process too. Develop your process. If you listen to me often enough, you'll understand my process and the Goshen process. Who we are as a Goshen firm. What we do is different from what you do. It may be similar, but you will find the thing, you'll find your groove, you find out what you're good at. You should focus on that. And then you go from there. And trust that process, and then remember to trust your process. That's the 5.5 piece. So I'm gonna stop presenting now. We're gonna go into our kind of discussion piece here. So the questions I have for you all are: what challenges have you faced? What lessons have you learned from those challenges? And what are some things that happened that were unexpected? For instance, I decided to stretch and work with different clients who fit my niche, but I just haven't worked with before, because obviously this piece over here wasn't working. I need to go do this. And my example was, I enjoyed working with those other folks that I never knew even existed. And it's really met my bottom line, not only financially, but also professionally, and an opportunity to grow the firm or whatever. That's how it happened for me. So those are the questions. We're going to get into that just a second. Our upcoming sessions, Anne's going to come back next week. She's going to talk about how to use LinkedIn. We're going to be talking about contracting. Victoria and I are actually going to meet later today and talk about our session for 2 weeks from now. You can see these other ones. Be aware that the TIG leadership is going to come and speak to us about getting engaged within the TIG on October 17th. Naima here? Well, anyway, Naima was here last week. She's the incoming TIG chair. She needs help because, well, that's her job. Recruit people to help her out next year. We will not meet on October 24th because a lot of us will be at AEA. And then I'm going to do a Halloween special. I have no idea what we're going to do on October 31st, but it will be spooktacular. I hope you're all chuckling. That's a bad dad joke. Time tracking. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do time tracking with Jessica, who's here. I haven't put her name in there. I forgot to add that. So Jessica's going to help me out. She always does time tracking with me. And then one of our favorite sessions each year is Becky Garrow. It's a rapid fire FAQ. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording. So all the YouTube people out there, we'll see you next week. Everybody else stick around.